6:30 in the evening. If you would, in order to have a more conducive meeting, if you have your telephones or communications on a sounding device, if you would, please mute or turn them off so we won't be interrupted by ringtones. If you would, let's stand for the invocation. Before we have to do roll call, I'm sorry. Do roll call.
Mayor Cameron.
Here.
Williams. Here. Moultrie.
Here.
Richardson. Glass. Here.
Council person Glass has agreed to do the invocation tonight. If you would, please stand and remain standing for the resolution.
Dear Lord, I come to you tonight to ask you to guide us and direct us in the business of the city of Chattahoochee. Keep our citizens safe, keep our town safe, watch over us and protect us. Thank you for all you have done for us. You have helped us in so many ways that we are blessed. I just ask this in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I trust everyone has had a chance to look at their agenda for tonight. Are there any amendments to the agenda that we need to
No, sir, staff doesn't have any,
staff
the council does.
and the council? Okay, we need to get approval of the amendments and entertain a motion for that.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight, no, for last week, last night, right?
Now, this is for the agenda for tonight.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting, Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You would please call for the vote, ma'am?
Mayor Cameron.
Yes.
Williams. Yes. Moultrie.
Yes.
Glass.
Yes.
We don't have any award presentations.
No presentations tonight, no, sir.
And our next item is going to be approval of the minutes from the meeting that we had January the 5th. If there are no changes, we'll entertain this motion to approve that.
I'll for motion that we accept minutes for January the 5th as written if there's no additives or corrections.
I second it.
Call for the vote, please, clerk.
Mayor Cameron.
Yes, ma'am.
Williams.
Yes, yes.
Moultrie.
Yes.
Glass.
Yes.
Any items that have been pulled from discussion? I didn't get any requests from citizens to be heard on non-agenda items, and we have no public hearings at this time.
No, sir.
Okay. Next item is our resolution 2021-1. Mr. Manager, would you speak to that, please?
Yes, so this is a resolution, you have done one previously, last year, maybe the year before, but we did the same thing last year. This is required by the Florida Department of Transportation. We are applying for a road project under the SCOP program, the Small County Outreach Program, which the cities do qualify for one application per year. We are selecting for some Middle Oak Street, and this is required as part of that packet with the workup and budget that we'll be submitting. It's no guarantee, but if the council would like to apply for that grant.
Okay.
Mayor, if I may, I'll read the resolution by title.
Okay.
Resolution number 21-1 by title is a resolution of the Board of City Council members of the City of Chattahoochee, Florida, authorizing the mayor to apply for FDOT funding through the Municipal Small County Outreach Program for resurfacing Oak Street.
Does the council have any questions?
Is this something that we already had in place for a while?
The SCOP program, Department of Transportation has had it for a while. I don't know if y'all ever applied for any previously, but the 2 years I've been here, we have applied for projects.
I think we have in times past on this, we got Hickory Street
That's,
repaved.
you're right.
And
Hickory
they got a
Street
sidewalk built on McDonald Street.
So you have applied for these in the
But
past.
it's a,
Well, I
it's not
know,
an immediate process. I mean,
Well,
it takes some time to do it.
yeah, I know a lot of them that we had been on the list, that's what I'm trying to check, do we have a list that we're kinda trying to go down if we got certain roads that we're gonna try to pave? If so, we need to try to refresh everybody to make sure that we kinda have an idea of that.
We submitted Congo the last 2 years,
Right,
and they don't like it. You know, I was trying to slip sidewalks in there through a resurfacing program grant, and they don't like it. So this year, we tried to find something that has a pavement condition, because they score the projects, the application. So we tried to find something that would score, and so we would get approval and get the grant. And Oak Street is, you know, about the worst one in the city, and when that culvert blew out, there's a bad place there, so we're, putting for guardrails, upgrading of the, water conveyance, signage. It's just one we think we can actually get funded for. Congo is the one y'all had selected. We tried it twice and they don't like it. The payment's too good.
right. I
Yeah.
figured Congo was,
You need
I
cracks.
kinda question that about Congo anyway.
You need potholes, you need cracking.
And Oak Street's the street, you know, everybody goes to vote to, and it's bad.
Well, I just wanna make sure that we just continue, you know, just if we kinda have an idea, if, look ahead and say, okay, well, this is the next street that we might wanna look at. You know what I'm saying? Just kinda have that, when we have that in mind.
And we could have the, I could have the engineers come one night, if y'all wanted to do a 5-year
Right.
plan, you could go ahead, but they would need to grade them and give you the condition of them, because FDOT's gonna look at that. We could pick, you know, what we would like to see, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna score high enough to get the funding, but you could actually do, pick the top 5, and then we would just apply off of that list.
Right.
And, you know, until we got them all and knocked off, or we could update it as we get one
And I would
funded.
like to do that, and if it happens, it happens. You know what I'm saying? Then we kinda got an idea in our mind, okay, if we did this, that will
You
come on.
want us to prioritize the
Yeah.
streets that we
Yeah.
need.
Dewberry and I looked up, I wanna get a project, cause the last 2 cycles, we didn't get funded. I want a funded project. You know, whatever the score, that's their job, they're engineers, you know the score, let's get a street that hits the scoring categories, cause I want a project. So that's how Oak Street come up. It has all the things that they look for.
So what we should do is start riding around the city looking and giving you some names, and then of the streets we think.
As the council, yes, that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
The street department could do the same thing, and then, of course, we'd have Dewberry look at our list and kind of see how they would fall in the grading, but no, that's an excellent idea, and then we could come up with our next 5 submittals, because y'all could categorize, I mean, you could rank them and tell staff how you want to apply for them.
That's a good idea. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
But they only let you apply for one at a time?
One per year.
One per year.
Lakeland Drive, when was the last time they did that
Kinda club.
one? Do you
I mean,
have
that's a
an
county
idea?
project, but it was 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's been
It's been a while.
a little while. Can we, will they go up under the county the same thing that we would be going up?
The county applies for, they actually get 2 categories. They get the scrap program and the SCOP program,
Mhm.
and, so
So
they
we
get
need
2
to start
projects.
calling Mr.,
Neesmith,
Neesmith.
request,
Right.
because if they can apply for that for us, we need it.
and do something about that garbage that got there on Lincoln Drive, what we thinking about. I know that's also the, map, but that's why I would mind, you know, that garbage out there on that street on Lincoln Drive.
Yeah, they're not picking it up as often as they used to.
It's horrible out there.
Mhm.
The dogs or something, some animal or something has gotten into it, and it's trash everywhere.
And then when you get out of town at the old dumpster site, people are just continuing to dump there, like it's active garbage site, but it's not, and, yeah, I agree with you.
It's bad. I mean, I don't know what.
that would be, that's an ongoing problem to have the traction. I don't know how to, we can get it picked up, but
I think that's something that we might need to visit with the county when they have their meeting, because it looks bad, and it's getting worse.
That, and when you're coming off the interstate into the Chattahoochee, right there in
Absolutely.
Donnell's,
Yeah, absolutely.
right there at the
Right there near
interstate. I mean,
Danielle's place
Yeah,
there, it is hideous
it
out there.
does.
and then you go into Valley Hill. from-
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe that's something that the manager can get with the manager there, see if they can do something, 'cause, you know,
I'll put in a
We in the
request.
city limits, that part of Chattahoochee, and it makes us look.
Yeah.
But they're responsible for the maintenance like that, I just came from a meeting over there about the fire funding, and saw the commissioner, but, I'll pass that along. And research, if y'all do happen to talk to the commissioner, resurfacing of Maple Street out by the school is a critical need. It's beyond critical. The road stripe, they don't have to resurface it, but they need to put some stripes out there by the school on Maple. That is critical.
Okay.
And then our check for our fire engine that's already included in their budget, they won't disperse it.
Why?
They're holding it. I talked to him about it, I have to get with the county manager,
Who's coming
Edward Dixon. He's the one holding it. And I haven't done that, and this afternoon, the fire meeting was not an appropriate place to make a scene, but, yeah, it's in their budget, it was approved, and currently, so if you happen to talk to Commissioner Neesmith, I would appreciate it. Maple Street, by the school, the stripes,
in? Right.
and that fire engine funding.
And maybe we need to try to request for, our commissioner to come up and speak with, you know.
Well, I talked to him, we had a conversation about that, a week or so ago, he stopped by the office, but their meetings were on the same night.
We probably
Oh,
have to.
there's
set it on
is
the
the
day.
same time?
It'll almost never, theirs starts at 6 p.m., so that'll almost never happen.
It'll have to be on the day that we're doing the workshop or something.
Correct.
Yes.
Let's get back to the business at hand. We need to, on resolution 2021-1, we need to.
I make a motion,
Second.
I need to say it, I make a motion for resolution 2021 of the Board of City Council members of the City of Chattahoochee, Florida, authorizing the mayor to apply for the FDOT funding through the Municipal Small County Outreach Program for resurfacing of Oak Street.
Second.
Any discussion from the floor? If you would please, Madam Clerk, call for the vote.
Mayor Henry,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Moultrie,
Yes.
Black.
Yes.
Mr. Robert?
Ready?
You're up.
Just a few items this evening. From the last meeting, a couple of items the council brought up. One was dealing with the south side down there, some additional lighting and the restrooms, the recreation department and electric department are working on that. There was some mention of speeding on Morgan Avenue. I discussed that and just got an update last week from, where'd she go?
You just walked on.
Anyway, Lieutenant Woods, I was hoping that she could give you an update, but there was a number of citations. They worked the area. Highway Patrol also worked the area some, but there was a number of tickets written, so, I can't speak for them. I'll have to find out if they're continuing to saturate the area, but hopefully it did some good down there on Morgan. One that wasn't the last meeting, but previous meeting, the Southside School down there. And I've been looking at it diligently, it was kind of, we can't afford to do it. It's an expensive project, look for grants and things of that. I just listened to y'all's discussion and to my orders, but I have found it's a CDB, it's a block grant, but it's directly tied to COVID. It's a new pot of money. I spoke with the lady who has helped us with our previous CDBG. That's all she does. She's an expert. We talked to the people at the state. They have more money than they have applications because it's kind of for particular projects because it needs to be COVID related. So the idea we knocked around, and I have contacted the school board and told them if we did this, we would need a letter, which they're going to take up in their meeting next week. But it would be a letter conditional that if we were to get this money, they would give us the school because it has to be in my grant application. We're applying for $3 million, and it would be a center that the health department could use for testing and giving shots. We possibly would do our senior services there, but we're stressing the food bank for storage, because we're doing that monthly now. We have backup data on that. State likes the project. They like the project, and the money's out there now, so there's no guarantees, but does the council bless me pursuing the application? Nothing guaranteed, but I do want to do it for $3 million. So we don't run into any, because you know, with architectural engineering, asbestos, and then the actual construction, we don't wanna, we don't wanna run short, so that we get back into the conversation you were having previously, could we afford the project? So I don't wanna do anything, I don't wanna overstep no bounds, if the council's not interested in pursuing that, then that's it, but if you want me to, we are prepared to do that.
And do you think 3 million will be enough to do that project
Yes,
of
ma'am.
the building?
Yes, ma'am. The, architect that did that initial, when I gave y'all those initial, we had a professional architect get those numbers, and what, we didn't dream them up. We've had him come back, and now, if we're gonna do a grant, see, there's money in there to actually pay him, so he's invested his time on the hopes that we do proceed with the project, because there was some money in there for engineer and architect. So it will be a good, when he's through this time, but his preliminary number, you know, he already told me 2.
I like to say, I would like for you to invest further into it, apply for the grant. Let's see where we can go, because some of the ideas that you just thrown out there
Mhm.
is well needed in the city.
Absolutely.
Because we don't have anywhere for a lot of these things to happen right now.
And there would still be, what would you call them, incidental benefits, because when it wasn't being used for, you know, once a month, the health department has something, you know, we do the banners for them now, but each
Right.
month they feature something.
Right.
You know, Diabetes Awareness Month and all that, so they could use that facility, but when they weren't using it, you know, the city could obviously still use it as a center for, you know, renting it out for events or things of that nature, or if the city wanted to have a big room for an event, it would be available. But when you're redoing the entire building, you can partition it so that there's separate rooms and a kitchen, and so I'm thinking our seniors may want to maybe consider moving their operations if they had their own place, nice, more room.
Absolutely.
But we're not that far along yet, but that would be in the grant application.
Okay.
Seniors, food distribution, and then health department, testing and vaccinations, and health fairs.
Okay. Is it a remodel or a build?
Has to be a remodel,
Has to be a remodel.
has to be a remodel, that's a lot of price tags so high.
Which means that you would have 2 places that can be utilized. You would have down at the river, out at Southside, and we can get this done. So you have 2 places that you can do pretty near the same thing.
Mhm.
Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am, plus, you know, we still have Oak Street, it's not very big, but we
We take that pressure off Oak with
yes,
the time. With being
absolutely.
that residential zone, 'cause that's our big issue with Oak Street. And I think you will have more space. And I think that would be a good.
And when y'all are ready, you know, we're gonna have to start talking, because we're still getting a lot of calls about, you know, the rentals, but, you know, that's when y'all get a comfort level that you're interested in doing that, you know, we can set a date for opening them back up. Because there's a lot of people that, you know, inquire about them, rent them for different things.
We would probably just have to get some wording from the lawyer about that we wouldn't be held liable if someone contracted COVID during that time, you know, it had to be very
Yeah.
legal wording.
So just something to think about, that's not important tonight, but I don't wanna proceed with this unless the council is good with it.
Sounds good to me.
You won't spend any money, we'll either get it or we won't, and if we get it, we'll have enough money to do what we want down there.
And you said the school board said they would give it to us.
Well, it will be official, their meeting next week. Actually, it's a workshop, they're having a workshop next week, it will be put on the table, the school boards all along wanted us to have it. But what I need is a letter of intent.
That if we get the grant,
If we're
then
successful, a letter of intent to deed that to us. That's what I need from the school board, and I was told I could get it.
And I know it's been some people that backed off, worried about that, there have been a lot of people going after it, but there's some have backed off.
Yeah, still a couple wanting it, you know, but, very expensive project, but okay, well, we'll proceed with that then, if that's okay.
Let me ask one more thing about that, and I don't want to open up a can of worms, but there was a question several years ago that was posed to the city about some petroleum contamination down there through an old tank that was used as a boiler for the heater. Do we need to have any kind of guarantee that the property is clean from petroleum?
Well, we could, as part of our analysis, we'll have the architect bring in somebody to check for that, because there's a whole laundry list of things that they need to check for
I just wanna make sure that that.
before we take, accept title. I'm sure that the attorney wouldn't let us accept title unless he's real funny about the title searches.
So if we don't get the grant, then the school board will still own the,
Just like they do
Okay.
now. Nothing will change.
The only way that we end up owning it is we get.
the grant,
If
okay?
we get $3 million, and I really think that's enough money, I think it would be a good investment.
Yeah.
And I think that's good, cause before, I know Ken, you probably remember, that we wasn't able ever to try to get a grant, like they always said that we didn't own it, you know.
Exactly.
For you to be able to try to get a grant with us not owning it, that's good.
That was the catch. You couldn't-
And the only way I got around it this time is if I get that letter of intent to,
Right.
it's not issue title, I got it wrote down somewhere, but, to transfer title, they will accept that where they review the grants. But they, on the phone, they like the project, and they're the ones who decide who gets the money. You know, we build it up, but I mean, we will be using it for those things.
Mhm.
And it fit right in with the grant category that they are looking for, so we'll proceed with that, and, there'll be some fees and all associated with it, but they'll be paid out of the grant if we're successful. So you won't have to front anything,
Sounds good.
okay? The legislative session starts March 1st, and we have submitted several projects over now. I understand it's gonna be a very lean year. But our ace in the hole over there, we have our lobbyist over there, so I'm sure she's gonna twist some arms for us, but,
Working on it.
but we did put in several different categories because the more different pots of money you go for, you might get one, because sometimes they'll have money in transportation or water, and they might not have any more over here, for certain things. So what we did, that mountain bike trail down there, the feasibility study, we're looking for $50,000 to conduct the feasibility study. We have the property and all to look at putting a mountain bike trail in. We put in one for police equipment for $75,000, communication equipment, and other various things that our department needs. That will come in the law enforcement section over there. And then, of course, water's always a big one. They always have a big pot of money. So the actual control box down at the waterworks, is ancient. I mean, but the problem when we did the shutdown with Duke and then the water didn't come back up, that was all related to this control panel, this huge control panel. We'd like to replace it, and then we also put the smart meters in there, so we have a request, from their water fund. I'm sure they'll send it to DEP, but that one is $525,000. So, we've confirmed with the House and the Senate, their offices have them, so I'll confirm they're aware of it. So if any of you, have a chance to talk to your senator or representative, those are three things we have requested from the legislature this year that we'll be lobbying for.
There wasn't another pot like we could get to finish up the park down there,
We have an application in that we're gonna get to cover that, and they've already given us the
the,
500,
yeah.
so I hated to
Don't hate it, they can only say no.
Yeah, these are things we hadn't tapped into, and I thought we might have a better chance. But we have we've just got another 280,000 for down there, and we have another one we're probably going to get. So no, we did not make another request for the RV park. To answer your question. One more thing is, the COVID-19. The federal government Centers for Disease Control had recommendations that came out last March pertaining to quarantine and leave policy. We were basically, everyone in the country was instructed that if someone got it, there was a long list of things, or if your child, your daycare issue had a problem, or your spouse, you were given 10 days paid leave. Well, that expired December 30th, so that's no longer available. So looking for direction and you don't have to do all the other things that like they had, but if someone actually has the COVID, are you interested in continuing a leave policy of 10 days for that employee? you know, not the daycare issues, and spouse issues, things of that nature, but, for us to continue as we have with the 10 days. Now, some people have already used their 10 days, obviously. Some haven't, and hopefully not, we don't have any more employees, but, you know, the way this thing's going, there's gonna be a few more. Do you want to continue to provide the 10 days leave for people who test positive for COVID?
I think it'd be wise, but let me ask you a question. What were the guidelines to say that you had COVID? You had to have a positive COVID test,
Yes.
and then,
Well, under the CDC now, it could be your spouse had it, or if your child's daycare had it, and you had to watch the children. There was another couple of categories, Wendy, what were the other ones?
And from the school as well.
If your school was closed, you were entitled to 10 days.
but you're just talking about the employees.
Basically, what I'm talking about, but you're the council, we'll do whatever you want to do, but what I was thinking was someone test positive for COVID, you know, the 10 days, because maybe they don't have the leave, or they use up their leave during the process, you know, I would hate for someone to catch COVID and be sick and
Sure.
miss a payment on something.
What they're doing at our school board is that if we have not used our 10 days, which I haven't, if I get COVID, then I get to use the 10 days.
Well, that's a good way to do it, yeah, because like I said, we've
But
had,
if you use the 10 days,
it's gone,
it's gone.
right, huh? That's
And
kind of
that's why
basic,
because daycare and all that, they cut all that out. It had to be just the employee.
that's what I'm recommending to the council.
I think we have a responsibility as employees.
Yeah.
Yes.
To,
For employees, yes.
yeah.
Okay,
So, that's fine, Robert, if you want to come up with some language to do that.
thank you, and, we'll make that happen, and I'll be glad to answer any questions, that's all I have.
That sounds good. And, two things I want to ask you about on the monies for the Oak Street repaving. Will that pay for any infrastructure that has to be moved? Is there any sewer lines or water or gas lines that need to be moved before we pay that?
I don't anticipate us having to move any unless it's down at the culvert crossing, but if so, it would,
It would pay for that.
because we are planning on the culvert, guardrail, improving that crossing to DOT specs, basically. But as far as the road project itself, we won't have, no utilities to be involved,
The utility.
other than that right there.
There's a utility pole in the ditch down there that's actually set in the concrete. If we have enough right of way, it would be, I think, prudent to move it where it's not in the ditch. Either, I don't know how much right of way we've got on there. If
We have a gas line right there that's an issue, the other stuff's incidental, but that gas line right there is gonna be an issue, because I want to widen and improve that crossing to meet current standards.
Or do you know if they're gonna put the speed bumps out back on it when they take them up? Or is that our
That's-
choice?
That's up to us.
Okay. That's the only thing I had about it. Thank you.
I have a question. What about the house on Pine Avenue? What you found out?
They hired a contractor who's already pulled his permit, they will be tearing it down themselves and retaining ownership of the lot. Yeah, I forgot to update you on that, but that has worked itself out.
Oh, good.
We got out of that one.
It is.
And street signs, we've talked about getting new street signs all the time. What about those?
Already met with the street department, instructed them as, and then we're not gonna go out and, buy $20,000 worth, but as we replace them now, DOT standards, they'll be on the pole with the reflective 3M reflective, modern day street signs. And, I hope they'll look, I hope everybody likes them. Remember I came and got approval from y'all to do that.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
We approved it, yes.
I just don't want to be ugly.
I have a question for you. Mr. President,
yes, ma'am.
have you heard anything else from the health department about having the COVID shots here in Chattahoochee?
Yes, ma'am. Spoke with them latter part of last week. They did I'll tell you a story about the Havana testing site.
Mm-hmm.
The Gadsden County Health Department was notified from the state of Tallahassee, we're having a testing site at this church on such and such a date. But they asked me for some church contact information here in Chattahoochee. I talked to Stacy. I'm gonna say it was Thursday. I'm almost positive it was Thursday. And they haven't set a date yet, but it will be at a church here in Chattahoochee.
It'll be inoculation or testing.
Shot, they're not gonna shot. Yes, ma'am.
Drive-through then.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But no date has been set, but they're on it and we're closer,
Limited quantity.
always. Everywhere they go, it's
But the
limited.
minute that you hear something, we need to get it out as quickly as possible and stay on top of it, because it was so many people miss getting the shots in Quincy. I've been getting call after call after call wanting to know if we were gonna have it here in Chattahoochee.
Mhm.
And that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, at some point, and like I say, it was, I'm almost sure it was Thursday, because when the Havana site was announced, you know, that just rang a bell for me. I couldn't help but.
Yeah, it was announced on television as well.
Right, so I had to mess with them then. You know, we've been talking about a site, you said we're not ready, and that's when they told me, they go, look, we didn't know we were having a site in Havana. That came from the governor or somebody. Now we gotta make it happen. And, I said, well, did you get in touch with any of the churches? And yeah, we're working on that, and it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be at a church. And that's all the information I have, and that's as recent as Thursday, and it came from, Stacy.
And when they do it at the church, will it also be with the age limit, or will it be open to anyone that?
I mean, right now in Florida, you have to be a healthcare worker or a senior. It's the phase one. I mean, yes,
What about the school teachers?
she didn't say anything about school teachers.
They not really, they actually hadn't really, if you, I think on the job, they've been doing it for with the healthcare workers, but they so tight for with their seniors right now, for even like with the vaccine. They ain't really, you know what I'm saying?
In phase two, they can't tell you what phase two, phase two may be 55 and older, you know, nobody knows exactly what, you know, because I guess the governor's gonna do that.
Right.
But phase two in Florida has not been defined yet,
Well, from what I can
how they're
see,
gonna, or just open it to everybody.
from what I can tell, it's like with the 2 shots, they just not getting it out to everybody and waiting to make sure that seniors get it. And I say now, in Quincy, over at the county, they're doing a good job for us, cause they were begging people to come with that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So, far as the seniors, you know, so I guess.
And they've been doing it every week.
Yeah, they've been doing it.
So unless those people have transportation issues, you know, if they're that concerned and really wanting the vaccine, they can get it in Quincy.
But I don't want us to have it here and not have enough people, because, you know, it only lasts so long, getting people
Well,
want it.
that was an issue in Quincy last week.
But what we need to do, Mr. Manager, is maybe some kind of way to have something up there on the, you know, when people paying their bills or something like that, cause they're doing it over there in Quincy every time, at the, health department. Oh, you got to call, you just call and get on the list. I put somebody on the list today.
You know, we
All you
posted,
gotta do
we
is call.
posted.
You call over at the health department in Quincy, and they'll put you on the list.
That's right.
So they're doing a good job for that. So maybe we need to make sure that we get the information out there for the health department in Quincy. That's what they're doing.
Couldn't we get one of them signs and do like we did with the, like with the phone number, so when people come to work or whatever, you know, like the guys in the sheriff's department have, like they used, and put on their contact information for 65 and older, because older people don't have the internet and all that. And that way, if they come uptown to the dollar store or somewhere, or go to Sneed,
If you get the whole message, you know, it's limited how many digits.
but I'm just saying, you know,
But Katie has been posting, I thought y'all had put a paper one up, but I know when I walked by your desk the other day, remember I said probably the wrong word, but I said refresh it, or whatever you do to make it go back to the Facebook thing. But again, everybody doesn't,
yeah.
you know, use the
I just-
computer.
Wondered if the county could at least provide that over here, so that older people, you know, if they see one of the big signs, they really stop and read it, I'd watch them. And with the
We'll
new
check on
dollar
that.
store, if we could put it like where they had the one for Christmas, where people could see it coming and going from the hospital.
I will check on that. But there will be a site here, I don't have a date yet, we're at the mercy of the health department.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir, that's all I have.
I don't have anything tonight.
Mr. Moultrie?
I know that we're done with all the Christmas lights, if the city got something with lights in a building or something, we make sure that they off. I know that if we still got anything going for it, in the buildings.
No, sir, I had a complaint this week about a building
Complaint,
at
right,
the old Hilton Shoe Store,
right.
but that's not us. And
Yeah,
actually, I'm not sure, I think that was one of the ones you were involved in.
Okay.
But,
We just can't get the door open right now.
You can't get it open.
No, we got the keys to get it open, but it won't open.
Oh,
But we got somebody that's gonna open.
the one up there at Tim's old peanut lot,
yeah.
that one was on me.
Okay.
I created an account, I paid the account this week, I paid that, the city didn't put a penny in that was Robert Russell on the light bill.
All right, just want to make sure we got all that straight so that we don't have those complaints anymore. We got that kind of situated on it. Utility bills. I know that we got a couple of extra days, but these bills seem kind of.
33,
So usually at this time of the year, I know that they kind of high, but they just seem a little bit to the extreme that time.
We got a lot of cold
You
weather.
know, I understand that that's been the same thing since I've been up here being said about cold weather. But this time, it just seemed extreme. It just
it's the
seemed,
33 days is the main thing, when you look at the bills and how they calculate them,
did that happen last year?
they have
We went
two
to
or three
What
cycles
I'm
a
saying,
year.
what I'm saying, I know it was high last year, but this time it just seemed to the max. It just seemed real high, you know, I just.
No change in
Yeah, we hadn't kicked
the
in.
cost.
Okay, all right. We hadn't kicked in the savings yet.
This month.
It'll be
Did
this
they-
month coming up,
Which bill was it actually?
the savings.
This one that'll be generated at the end of this month, that'll be due March the 10th.
So that's the one
So
they'll
that's what we
actually see.
need to be able to tell people. Cause see, they thinking that it's already there. You see what I'm saying?
Well, it is,
I know that we are, but that it's good to get that out because they think it's already there and it's not there yet. You see what I'm saying? So it's good for us to be able to let the people know because they're gonna call us. You know what I'm saying? And
We
so,
knew
you know,
this
for the
was-
people that watching, at least they know that part. You know what I'm saying? Cause highlight bills, people gonna complain.
we knew this month was gonna be a killer because of the 33 days. I mean, you could look ahead and tell when you're gonna get a lot of calls. I mean, it's gonna be a bad one right here.
Look, if I was on the city council, I probably would've been called because this is how I feel. I never did. So, you know, I started making a call, but I said, I mean.
And it's basically on usage, no
Yeah,
change in charge.
it's this, I think this the highest bill that Chattanooga probably had. For the amount of people. I ain't talking about individual houses, but I'm talking about the complaints from people. You know what I'm saying? The complaints from the people that the highest that I think, you know.
You should have already got
Yeah,
I didn't see
first of the month.
Cause I filled out all the bills today and there wasn't no bill.
But, yeah, those extra 3 days, you know, depending on a person's usage, you know, they could add $40 to your bill.
Well, I feel better that, our word that the savings were getting in with that. You know, so I'm glad that
Not
that's
yet.
not, you know, so hopefully, you know, people will start seeing that, that'd be good. And at least, you know, we can tell people when they call. Another thing I want to make sure, and maybe we can do this, that's totally up to y'all. Once a year, you know what I'm saying, kind of letting people understand how we operate government. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people for like what happened at the last meeting, people coming in about the police department, you know, and all the different departments. A lot of people get a misunderstanding that, like with a lot of cities, the council is directly over the police department, and we're not. And so I think once a year, we need to have a kind of a little brief understanding so that the public kind of understand how we operate. You know what I'm saying? You know, our position, you know, who we hire and fire. Just like, you know, the only people we can hire and fire is the lawyers and the city manager. We're not directly over the department. You know what I'm saying? So even with somebody on the street department, if they're doing something, we can't say, okay, well, we're about to fire this person. That's not the power that we have. but there's a misunderstanding of that. You know what I'm saying? There's a misunderstanding that the council got all the power in the world that they can do certain things. And I feel like, you know, every so often, we need to kind of refresh the community what we do here. You know what I'm saying? Our positions, our roles of what we're doing. You know, and also, police department is on a totally different thing even from all the other departments. So we have to be very cautious with what we say for the police department. And understanding of how, it needs to be an understanding of how the police department is gonna be investigated if something going on with them. And it ain't on us. You see what I'm saying? But we need to have an understanding that there's an understanding even with us and the community. You see what I'm saying? Rather than it just getting to a point and it come here. We need to, every so often, if y'all don't mind, just a brief refresher. You know what I'm saying? And if people listen, they listen. If they don't, they don't. But I would love for us to do that, you know.
We'll do, not a problem, we can make that happen.
That all right now?
I just don't, it's a good idea, and I'm not trying to look for the worst in all of it, but if you can't have a room full of people, I don't know how we're gonna be able to get out to have a crowd to let people know what's going on. If we're restricted on our numbers, we have.
I just figure over time, you know, we do it every so often. If we can't do nothing about the ones that don't, but I just would like to, you know what I'm saying? And even though we done been up here a while, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we can have questions. We got a lawyer here, you know what I'm saying? Just, and it ain't even got to be long. Just sometimes there's a big misunderstanding about how our government runs. And, you know, and a lot of people think actually that we're directly over the police department. Now that is a thought in time. You see what I'm saying? So we need to have an understanding of when things happen, how we go about, you know, and we gotta understand. So if it happens, something happened here, it's already in place of what's gonna go on. You know what I'm saying? Not like what we had, you know, the other meeting. Now I don't think nothing bad went on, but I'm saying I think we should make sure right away we already have an idea of what's gonna happen. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Williams.
That was one of the things on my, you know, is about the utilities, and I tried to explain to a lot of them that called me that we had a longer month. In the longer month, we had a lot of cold days, more than normal, and that caused the utility bills to go up. But come approximately March, they would begin to see a decline in the cost of their utility. Hopefully, I helped the ones that was calling me on that. I've already began to talk with a lot of the representatives there at the Capitol. As a matter of fact, they began to ask me, how's things going in Chattahoochee? Do you really need some help in Chattahoochee? And my reply to that was, I never saw a day that we didn't need some help in Chattahoochee. I have 17 new reps that I'm working with, and I'm making sure that they see Chattahoochee on the map. I also talked with you, Mr. Presnell, about getting the information in of the things that we actually need to have in place. I thank you for sending the letters out and getting that information to both the senator and the representative so that we can be up on top of the line, ahead of the game. Right now, the Capitol is actually kind of shut down. They're having to do everything virtual right now. Don't know. Hopefully, by March the 2nd, we will actually know exactly how they're going to allow people to come in to actually talk with the senators and the representatives. Right now, they're not doing it. But I'm in hopes that I can stay on top of everything, and I'll be calling you from time to time, trying to get some information to make sure that Chattahoochee is not forgotten. I think they get tired of me hearing the word Chattahoochee. Second harvest, I've been working with them. Hopefully, I have a calendar in place. It has not been approved as of yet. I'm still waiting on it due to the fact that they skipped us in December. They will also be skipping us again in February. And they're saying it's because so many other cities have begun to come in saying that they need help. And, they are trying to assist as many people as they possibly can. But they will be here in Chattahoochee on March the 11th, and I think you already have that out there on the internet.
Yes,
It's
ma'am,
already
we'll
been
keep,
posted that they will
keep
be
reposting.
here on March the 11th. And I've already given them a schedule for month after month, and as the dates come up, we will make you aware, and as soon as the supervisor approves that, schedule, I'll get with Mr. Presnell so that he can put the whole schedule out on the, internet for us, that everybody will be able to know. And I'd like to thank you, Mr. Presnell, for checking into the South Side situation, and I'm in hopes that that 3 million grant will go through, because it's something that's really needed in the community for those that, are liking, transportation to get down to the river, that they won't be forgotten. Thank you for checking into the situation that we had at the project. I've gotten some calls on that, and some of the people, not all of them, some of them, notice a slight difference. Thank you very much for that. Thank the police department for working with us with that situation. Ms. Wendy, thank you very much for the work that you do. I know it's been hard for you. Sorry, but thank you for everything that you do. Attorney Miller, thank you for answering my calls. When I call you, sorry to hold you on the phone for so long, but if you would, please keep me posted when it's time for us to do this next class, because I do need to be in that class, and thank each and every one of the councilmen for working with us, working together, trying to get Chattahoochee to move forward. Thank you.
And is the, March 11th, the same time frame for the,
Yes,
from 10 till rerun?
yes, same time, same location.
Well, thank you. We are missing Ms. Richardson tonight. She is under the weather, keeping her thoughts. Ms. Glass?
All my questions got answered. I just want to thank the police department. I appreciate all you're doing. Our city workers, they're working hard. I noticed the ditches are cleaner and things are doing better. Maybe one day we'll get some prisoners to be able to help us. But I do want us to check on what the county's supposed to be held responsible for, and that they're doing their job. I mean, we can't do it all. They get money, a lot more money than we do, and they need to keep up their end of the deal.
And, you know, I just thought of, you know, they're probably -6 inmate crews themselves that work on the road.
But that's all I have.
Now, before you get started, I just want to thank City Hall for giving me a birthday card. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Mr. Presnell, where are they with the building for the senior citizens?
They are rebidding it. They had bid the project. There was something they didn't like. They had Dewberry, who is the engineer company we have, that does work for them too, go in there, and it's something to do with the rafters, structural rafters, that they're changing, and the project will be rebid. But no, they're moving forward with the repair on it. They had actually bid it one time, but they're gonna have to rebid it. They discovered something, I guess, in the original scope of work for the repairs. Probably one of the contractors told them, you know, this isn't the best way, or this won't hold up, but it's something to do with the structural steel in the trusses, is all I know. But you'll see a bid in the paper, I'm sure, again.
Thank you.
Well, thinking about two things. I had a couple of people questioning some of the rules that the campground is. Did anybody talk to you about using the campground as a, part of a hiking situation instead of,
They have, one gentleman come and visited with me,
you
where we gated it, made it secure. Well, in the back where the power line is, we put a gate down there where the little drive is between the ponds.
right?
And apparently he used to drive down there and park somewhere and walk that back and forth, and, I recommended he get with the park host to see if they could work something out. I don't know if that's happened.
Okay, well, that's fine.
But, once and it's not full right now, but once you get a lot of campers in there who are expecting privacy, it could be an issue. I've been in my spot and I'm sitting there out in my lawn chair and then here comes somebody walking.
Straight through, yeah.
So long term, but for right now, if him and the park host could work out something for his walk until we get the trails, fixed back. But I did tell him, once those trails are available, that's where you'll need to walk.
Now, since you brought up travel, they still working down, I guess, Gulfstream Park on certain Saturdays?
Yes, sir, they are.
Are they the only ones that have access to the park?
Yep, they've been working maybe 2 Saturdays a month on, or one at least one Saturday every month at least.
But they're identifying
They're not called exotics, what are they called?
natives.
They're non-native
Endangered-
plants,
endangered.
invasive plants, and they go in there and they basically handful them now. We are signing on to a grant, as we're gonna kind of sponsor it, I guess, but with Game and Fish, where they can hire somebody to go in there and do some chemical work. It won't cost us anything, I'll make sure of that, but we, as the owner of the property, we kind of have to sponsor it. They're gonna have, I guess you remember Lee Brooks, prepare the grant application to Game and Fish. I talked with the Game and Fish guy. They'll get the money. Game and Fish recommends a contractor that they like, so they're gonna go in there and try to nuke a lot of those invasive plants. But yeah, they took a time off there for a while, but they're back.
Okay, well, I had seen the cars, and I just want to make sure that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, she stays on us pretty good.
Okay. Have you ever had any, positive interaction with the Adopt the Highway program that they have for different organizations?
When I was with the county, we did it. We had a program, when I was there, but we don't have anything on the books here that I'm aware of. I haven't seen
Well,
anything.
I don't think they, but I was just thinking that might be some way to help keep certain areas picked up, whether it's the Lincoln Drive or the road in from I-10 or something like that.
Like churches or civic organizations.
Civic organizations or just, a group,
Well, that's like what happened down there at the river this weekend, I didn't even know nothing about it, and they cleaned up the river, some people,
Mhm.
it's this group that.
Twice a year.
And,
the River Keepers?
Yeah. They go down and they pick up.
and they went down, and I had no idea I would win, but maybe we could that's a good idea about getting people to sponsor certain sections.
Might would help the county a little bit.
Well, it probably would, but
They have a program in the unincorporated area. They have an existing program, and they furnish the sign. And I actually used to furnish the gloves and bags, to the organization to put the trash in, and then I would tell them where to put it, and then I would have the knuckle boom truck pick it up on Monday. We would actually pick the bag trash up for the group, the church or whoever it was.
that might be some way to, help reinstall some citizenry pride if we're out there picking it up ourselves instead of having some kind of taking control of our own way someone else to do it for us.
Yeah,
We can
that's a good idea.
You say, you see, so-and-so throwing out a bag, say, look, I gotta pick that up, how about pick it up? But that may or may not be direction control. But that's all I have, I'll thank everybody for coming tonight. We have no more business, we'll stand adjourned. Mr. Miller.
How-
I think